Ikuto's mother being rushed to the emergency room after the credits there. It's not surprising that her health gave out. I mentioned either in like the episode 4 or 5 review that when that person was walking into the room after Ikuto was leaving, it just didn't look like a good sign based on those medical records that they were holding, but I wasn't expecting it now. I thought it would be something like episode 9, episode 10, and to see how things were finally falling into place in such a way that, the final exam, the final little test, you can pick your own models. That sounds perfect. We'll bring in Chiyuki, it will kind of once again show how great of a model she is. He'll be able to flex his amazing creation. I mean, they're the perfect combination. You get that great aura and you get the great creation. It's just like perfect harmony. And then you see the sister just trying to call, being like, please pick up. And now everything's going to shit and the mother's probably gonna die. If she doesn't, still, it's gonna cause a lot of heartache there, and it'll be interesting to see where it goes. But removing that very dramatic-filled cliffhanger after the credits there, this episode was very, very good. I mean, they once again spice up the formula by just making it feel so exhilarating, as if we understand the hardships that these characters are going through. This was a very cheeky, dominating, focused episode. And her first chunk of the episode was exhilarating. I mean, she literally is continuing to be held down by so many things. Just the simple idea that she is a tad shorter than the other models. People look at her at a first glance and say she's useless. Even if you rearrange things, you're just not going to fit in. You want to naturally have people be at a certain stage of height. And you have Kokoro's, management just always, wanting to shut her down and just really feeling like she has a vendetta against her or something like that, as if she just has this agenda that she makes sure that she never succeeds, almost like she was scared of her or something. And I thought it was quite interesting, especially when you see Chiyuki's manager and then you have Kokoro's kind of having that little drink scene at the bar, and how it really makes sense why she's so hostile towards Chiyuki, because she tried to be a model herself and clearly failed, and now pretty much is bound and bent that people should go into the field that they're most skilled at. Rather than chasing your dreams, those dreams, unless you have the skills to meet them, is just going to end up in a very negative place. And not to say that she's right by thinking that you should give up on your dreams and just kind of go with the flow. If you have good technician skills, be a technician instead of trying to be an animator when you have no skills for that, right? It's not to say that she's right, but you understand how she got to that mindset. But then in comparison with Chiyuki's, who for the longest time was saying give up, give up, give up, now is saying, you know what, I've seen the potential. I've seen the little glimmers of aura that when she really rocks it, you can't even tell she's short. You can't even tell that she doesn't meet the criteria that we set out for modelings and things like that. I think it's quite interesting to see the complete difference between these two and how you immediately understand why she got so hostile and why she's so bound and bent to keep Kokoro not only in their management, because she will keep their management afloat, she'll be able to model and keep them in the financial green, not in the red or anything like that, but also how she genuinely does care for her and realizes that, you have natural talents. I don't have natural talents. I can't be where you are, but you can definitely be a model. Don't risk it all because you want to be some designer. It does make sense, but also I obviously don't agree with it. I say, follow your dreams, damn it. Screw what the world has set out and said you have to just follow the road that's been laid out before you. Make your own damn road in the path of life. And I like how they really made us understand that, but then when you take into consideration everything that was happening before that and how they were building up this idea of aura, I thought was amazing. I mean, Chiyuki, you just constantly feel bad for how she's being held down, but she constantly doesn't want to be looked down upon with those sad puppy eyes. No, she wants to rise to the occasion herself. But you can tell how hard it is for her in this episode, especially how people are like, who the hell hired her? She's an extra, it doesn't matter. They're not even allowed to show their faces because they're not the star model. And how everyone's just talking behind your back. The toxicity in the workplace for modeling is so real. I've only read up about it, but I mean, you can really get a taste of it in this episode. And I thought, just based on how hard she's been trying to quit, I thought when she finally walked out, it would be pretty much nothing, as if she was just gonna, just be a model, she'd do her thing, it'd look fine because she matches the criteria. But she went out there and she stunned the people, I have to say. Though I think my favorite part of that entire Chiyuki content was how rather than just saying okay, she did great, because she's so focused on being a designer, she's cut her hands up to the point that it's not fit for modeling, so they have to use black gloves. I thought it was so interesting because Chiyuki is constantly trying to fight back against criticizing, because bringing someone down is not going to get you to where you want to be. You don't want to be that person. You have to rise to the occasion and overcome your own shortcomings rather than just feeling like someone else is doing better than me, so I have this agenda against them. It's so interesting how she was constantly fighting back the urge to say, how could you be so careless? Why could you let your hands look like this? You're a model, damn it, but just kind of ate her pride and said, yeah, here's your gloves. But to see that kind of like final moments in the hallway, like that was like the icing on the cake for that section, because she broke down. I mean, and it makes sense. Imagine that you have this like beautiful model. She meets everything that you wish you had, and she's basically begging to quit because she doesn't want to feel like she's letting other people like Chuki feel bad about their own selves and things like that. And how she just snaps and being like, how dare you? That's the type of conflict you want to see in a show like this. Not something that's like catfight or anything like that, about just like the jealousies and things like that. It's more about just how these two characters are both fighting for their dreams without even realizing that they're so alike in the process. One, just wanting to be a designer, not wanting to be a model even if she can naturally rock it. Where with Chuki, that's the type of model you might want to say, why not try being a designer, because you don't match the criteria that you're trying to fit for. And that's why I love the first half so damn much. It definitely was probably my favorite Chuki content in the anime to date. It just felt like it hit all the sweet spots while really flexing how far she still has left to go, but also flexing how she really does feel like she has her own aura. I mean, we can see when she wears Ikuto's clothing, she rocks it. She is the star of the show. And depending on what happens with his mother and things like that, if he can really create a line of clothing or something like that to let her really become so beautiful and elegant, I think he could easily win. But at the same time, it kind of feels like they're setting up for him to be disqualified because of the family's health, and maybe Kokoro will be the winner or something like that. There definitely is a lot of potential, but they nailed the dramatic element of just being a fill-in model and how really anyone could have had Chuki's job. She just bumped into the right person at the right time. Nothing about her was actually the reason she got hired, just, oh, you're a model, we need an extra, so fill in. And that's such a painful revelation, I have to say. Like, she's working so hard to be someone special, and the first job she gets in so long is just, oh, you're just a girl, that's why you got hired. That's all it is. Like, that has to sting, but I love how she's continuing to push forward, rise to the occasion, even though she has the odd moments of being like, I'm not crying, damn it, it's just so embarrassed and flustered. They definitely sprinkled in some nice comic relief without making it ruin the dramatic and things like that. But the Ikuto content was really good, especially because I really like the chemistry between him and Kokoro, because it easily could just be like a potential romantic interest and that's all they wrote it as, but I love how we're honestly feeling her desire to be a designer is just as important and memorable as our main two characters. It honestly feels like she's not just kind of going with the flow, she actually truly believes that that's what she wants to do. And I, in return, believe that her dream isn't something to laugh at and just say, oh, you have the skills, don't waste them. So many people will do that in life where you just naturally, you have something that the other doesn't, and they wish they had that, so they're saying, live out my dream, or just don't waste your life because you want to do something that's going to make you a little bit of money, but will apparently make you happy if you can succeed. Go make the big bucks and really use your talents to your full potential. But it's your own life, damn it, right? It's your own life. Do what you want to do. And if you fail, but at least you try. Would you rather fail at what you wanted to do or succeed at something you never wanted to do in the first place? And I love how they brought in a central character who easily could be a side character that we give no shits about, but they made her just as important as our central two, and wanting to see her succeed just as much as I want to see Chuki or Ikuto succeed as well. And that's saying a hell of a lot. That's a very hard thing to nail, especially after you've designed such two amazing personalities and dreams, and you're just like, these are the characters I want to see succeed. You then introduce a side character who's conflicting with one of your main characters, especially in an event where only one's going to win, and I'm still like, I want her to actually succeed as well. That's quite interesting. Not to mention how it seems like our boy is basically playing two sides. He's not quitting his old job, but he's also picking up another job all in the process, which I think is totally in character for him. He's not someone to just abandon, but he does need the money, and if he has to sacrifice all his sleep to work another job, I feel like he's the kind of character who would do it. But now that he has family issues, is he gonna get fired, or is he gonna, there's just a lot of possibilities, and that's what I'm really loving. They just do so much in every episode of Smile Down the Runway, and it never feels like there's too much content that it feels bogged down, as if we kind of just feel like, they're trying to do one thing, but because they're doing another three things in the process, there's not enough time to flesh out the real aspect that we're really interested in. No, even though there's a lot happening and we have a pretty hefty size of supporting cast and main characters, it does feel like everyone is getting their chance to shine. I mean, for the longest time, it felt like Chiki was a side character. We were just focusing on Ikuto, but now it feels like Chiyuki's the main character again. It definitely feels like, just depending on the section of the anime, one character will dominate more than the other, but then on the other hand, sometimes they'll balance it out pretty evenly. And this episode, they definitely had a pretty even balance, even though the past couple episodes have been very Chiyuki heavy. It definitely feels like these two are the main characters. They're holding the show together, but I mean, the supporting cast is just as interesting at times as the main one, and that's kind of exceptional. This was a great episode. It was dramatic, it was exhilarating, it was a little bit funny, and I mean, I'm excited, but I'm also worried about episode 8 next week, depending on what happens with the mother's health. But let me know your thoughts and theories down in the comment section below. Do you love it, you hate your favorite moment, whatever you're feeling, do let me know. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy, and remember to hit that subscribe button if you happy and new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.